I feel more like I have my own power.
Good.
Yeah.
That's what we
Like
like.
I feel completely like, yeah, I am capable of handling anything. Like not in a negative way, like just empowered. It feels freeing, it really does. Like I could cry right now.
Swasti. Hi, Swasti. How you doing? What can I do for you today?
Hi. I'm fine. Okay, so my question is, I have like a very tunnel vision goal for the next 2 months, which is just past this year, like academic year. Yeah, so that's basically my goal, and I just like I know that what I need to do is just keep focusing on the touchstone and then like create the childhood memories and practice them. But I'm kind
Yeah.
of having issues with all aspects of the work. Like not
Okay.
get like it's a lot of resistance, that's what it is. And then but like I'm overriding it and everything. I'm trying like all the different techniques of like just the color, superpower, like keeping my focus. Um like I'm doing fine for how I'm trying, but I know that like I really need to be aware of where my focus is because it can be a slippery slope really quickly. And yeah, so that's basically what I need help with. So I was like, I want to create, like support in my childhood, support and like belief in myself, like from my parents, so that I have that in myself. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Very good. So well done for being here and reaching out to help with this. So just going back a little bit, when you say that there's resistance, how do you know there's resistance? How's that showing up, or in what form is it taking?
Well, sometimes like I experience like was like burnout with this work, so I just stop.
Oh,
So that was the past couple of weeks, and then now I'm kind of back on it. But and then so I was working on my dad again because he was someone who didn't believe in me, who mocked me, and all of that, and that was where the pressure's coming from and the hard work and all of that. So I wrote a due justice like the
good.
day before yesterday, and then again yesterday because I still felt so angry. And I was kind of working on him, but it doesn't feel real at all. It doesn't feel believable.
Okay. All right. So when you say doesn't feel believable, as you think of the new memories of your dad, what's there? How do you know it's not believable? What is there actually?
So like when I tried to create the new memories and what I see now, well, like I can see it and feel it, but I just again don't think it's him.
Ah, very good. And how do you know it's not him?
I can't put myself in, like the from the child's eyes. Like I can't see it from a first person.
Okay, very good. All right. And so if you were to, so let's just pretend you are going to be able to see it first person. So you're going to put yourself in that perspective, the child's perspective, first person. What would that be like if you could do it?
Like okay, so with my mum, I can do it, so I know what that's like. So
Good,
that's what I'm aiming for. So like
right?
being able to see when you did the little exercise before where you see the hands of the
Yes.
child, and then that's when you're looking through their eyes, and then yeah, like seeing what do I see,
Hmm.
and that's yeah.
And what would it be like if you could do it? So let's say
Pardon.
you could do it. So your dad is there,
Yeah,
and let's pretend that if you were able to do it, how would that feel? How do you think it would feel, at least?
it would feel good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd feel the support. I'd feel like he's there, and that
Good.
validation.
Very good. Good job. And so any resistance to doing that? In other words, do you think there would be anything negative that would happen if you were able to do that?
I think it's just because he was such a stern character. Like it's deviating quite a lot from the norm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's then take a look at that. So so you see your dad. Have you been able to imagine him being fun or silly at all in your new memories?
Yeah, like he laughs. He is
Lots.
silly in real life, so I can imagine that. Yeah.
Good. Okay. And so if you so you've got the little you there, so your third person perspective as you look at
Mm.
these new memories of your dad.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you were to, let's ask the little you how she feels.
Hmm. I don't want his love, like I don't want the
There,
validation.
well, there you go. That makes sense then, right? So you don't want his love. What would happen if you accepted his love? What bad things would happen, or
I think I'd
how would
be
that?
I think I'd just be forgiving him for all that he did wrong.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it. So that makes perfect sense. Good job, sweetheart. Okay. So and what's wrong with forgiving him?
He's such a stubborn person, and
Hmm.
I became more stubborn because of it. Well, only
Hmm.
towards him, nothing else. So
Yeah,
like the more he fought, the harder I fought back. So
right.
it's like
Very
it would be like giving up against him if I did.
yes, exactly. And so if what do you think would need to happen in order for you to be able to let that go? What does he need to do, or what needs to happen to him? Or in other words, if anything is possible and you could use magic, what does that little you need in order for justice to be done?
Mm, apology and like undoing everything.
Good,
Yeah.
very, very good. So let's see if we can create that. Because
Mhm.
again, so I know you know this, but for everybody else who may be new in that, because the unconscious part of the brain can't tell the difference between reality and imagination, can't judge something as unrealistic, and can't use logic or reason, whatever we create, the unconscious part of the brain will accept it as long as the conscious mind allows it to. So let's see if we can create that right now. So if you can create this scene in your mind, so there's the little you and your third person, little you, and you've got your dad in front of her. And then I want you to make your dad apologize in the way he needs to apologize for that little you to feel that that justice has been done.
Yeah. Again, like it doesn't feel like him, and I don't want it.
Very
Yeah.
good, very good. And so let's say you don't want that. So what do you want?
I just want him to stay away.
Mhm.
um.
Okay. Now let's
Yeah.
answer that as well, because so what we know, and this is important to remind ourselves on about very often, is that of course he's not here.
Mhm.
So it's important to remind yourself this is not about him. This is not
Yeah.
him. It's just, and he's not in your mind, in your brain. It's literally all this is. As you imagine him apologizing, all that is neurons connecting
Mm.
and then triggering chemicals. So remind yourself that we need to add the conscious mind answering with logic, and because it's your conscious mind that's resisting, not the unconscious part of your brain. Your conscious
Mm.
mind is going, but then he gets away with it, but he
Okay.
shouldn't, and whatever. So before we continue, when you did the due justice technique, how did that go?
I finish it, but I still feel anger, but there's nothing to write. It's like I say, like I really, so like you say, like consciously I know I need his validation to move forward, but then I
Hmm.
really don't want it at the same time because I don't
Yeah,
like him. You know,
yeah,
that's what it is.
yeah. All right. So we'll come back to this part. Let's go to imagining your dad as a little boy. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Good. And what's that like? What's he like as a little boy?
Yeah, he's fun and, like
Yeah,
free spirited.
very
Yeah.
good. And what was his life really like as a little boy from what you know of it?
Yeah, just tough and not fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, presumably that's why he became, so the way he is now and the way he's been all your life is, of course, the result of his childhood. That's his coping mechanisms, the way he survived, right? And it's unconscious. So and so it doesn't excuse anything, of course, but it explains it, which is more empowering. And so as you think about, so you've got the little you and you've got your dad. Give that little you a magic wand and she can change literally anything. What will she change?
Wait, sorry, is this about him as a child?
No,
Or
as
in
an adult.
general?
So her father, yeah. What? So
Uh,
you've got the little you and your father standing in front of her, and
mm,
she has all the power. She has the magic wand. She can freeze him. She can change anything at all. What would she change, do you think?
well, like he was never like available. Like he was always there but not available. Right. But
Mhm.
then when he spoke, it was just bad. Like it was just
Mm,
negative stuff. Like there was nothing happy about it.
yeah,
So it's like this is the thing, like I just didn't want him to speak.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's understandable. That's understandable. So, do you think that if that little you had a magic wand and she could change anything, do you think she would prefer that he doesn't speak at all? Or would she prefer that he's really kind and fun and loving and affectionate and
Yeah,
supportive?
kind and fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So give her that magic wand and let that little you change her father to what he should have been.
Hmm.
See if you can do that. Let me know what happens.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I can imagine it.
Good.
But
Okay.
yeah, I think it takes a lot of like talking to myself to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what sort of talking to yourself will you do? So you can imagine it happening, what's happening at the same time, what thoughts and feelings are coming up as you do that?
It's like I have to like say that it's safe. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like this is his true self. This is what he wanted to give and what he is potential like what he is capable of giving.
Good job, Swasti. Absolutely spot on. So now let's add an extra layer of safety for that little you. So she's got the magic wand, but she's also got a protective bubble around her.
Mm-hmm.
So that bubble protects her no matter what. And that bubble is made of love. So it feels really safe. It feels really, really good. And your father is outside of that bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter what he does really, but she can make him with the magic wand. She can make him the way she wants him to be. How would
Okay.
that feel?
Yeah, it's great. And then I can choose when to let him in the bubble.
Right,
I like that.
exactly.
Yeah.
And you're not going to let him in until it feels safe,
Mm-hmm.
until you believe him. And now what I would do is have him convince that little one that he is authentically different.
Yeah. It's like, you know, when snakes shed their skin? It's like
Mhm.
that. Like, this
That's
is me
very
from the
good.
inside. This
There
was my
you go.
stuff.
Fantastic. And how does that feel?
It feels freeing. It really does. Like, I could cry right now. Yeah.
Oh, yay. That's wonderful to hear, Swasti. Good job. So
Yeah.
keep practicing that scene until that little, and make sure that you're giving that little you all of the power. So
Mm-hmm.
he decides when, where, who, what.
Okay. Yeah.
So do you feel confident moving
Yeah.
forward?
Yes. Yes, I do. Thank you.
Very good. Good job, Swasti. You're very welcome. Thank you for, for being here and going through this here because others will benefit as well.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, sweetheart. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Did you have any other questions?
Actually, yes, I do. So after this kind of like imagery and practicing it, how do I create like validation belief support, like specific
Okay.
examples?
Yeah,
Because I almost like need detail to create the feeling. I know it's just the feeling I need, but like,
that's okay. Yeah.
yeah.
And details can help. We don't need details themselves, but details can help amp up the feelings, because of course more neural connections means more chemicals, so
Yes.
that create the feeling. So good job. So let's pick something. So right now what you're looking for is support and validation, a feeling of support and validation right now in your life. Is that right?
Well, yeah, so I want, yeah, that's basically it.
Okay, very good. And so let's go to your childhood. And can you remember one moment in time when you needed support and validation from your parents? And I know there were a lot of them, but if you pick one, you got something that
Um,
comes to mind?
yeah, it's like when things didn't go right, then I needed like, like support to tell me,
That's
like a way around it, or that it's okay if it didn't go right.
very good. Good job, sweetheart. Okay, so let's take a moment in time, and it can be an original actual thing that happened, or you can make something up. It doesn't matter. Something went wrong. Either you did something wrong or something didn't work out the way it was supposed to. You got something?
I have a feeling, yes. Yeah.
You have a feeling. Good. And now let's put, so that's in your childhood, right? So let's put your mum in front of you first. So there's the little you, something's gone wrong, and your mum is in front of you. And what's the expression on your mum's face?
It was half disapproval, half it's okay. But then
Okay.
it's like when my parents both got together, then it was intense. Yeah. Then it was like, no,
Okay.
it's not okay.
Okay. So let's clean up your mother first. Then we're going to
Mhm.
check your dad separately, and then we'll put them together. All right. So we
Okay.
can find out where that piece is, that resistance is. Okay. So your mum, half disapproval, half it's okay.
Yeah.
All right. So how do you know that it's half disapproval, half okay? How does that represent it? How's that represented?
Well, like, okay, so I would like whatever happened, I would tell her, and then she'd be like, "Oh, it's okay," right?
Mm-hmm.
But then she'd almost get frightened that my dad would not be okay with it, and then she would not be
Ah,
okay with it. So she was
oh,
also kind of afraid of him without telling me.
all right. Okay. So that's an extra piece there then. We need to make
Mm.
sure that your mum is not afraid of your dad,
Hmm.
because that's a whole extra link.
Yeah.
So, and then any particular experiences come to mind, any particular memories come to mind of your dad being frightened of your mum, your mum being frightened of your dad?
Yeah, like he would. Yeah, he was like verbally offensive to everyone, like
Hmm.
everyone.
Okay. All right. And so pick a scene where your mum and your dad is being verbally offensive to your mum. And it could be a real one originally, or it can just be something that can represent that. You got it?
Yes.
Okay. And now, so your dad is saying whatever he's saying. That little you again has a wand, magic wand, freeze them both. Can you do that? So he's frozen in mid verbal abuse.
Yeah.
Okay. And can you see the surprise on his face,
Well, yeah, but
having
he's
been
frozen,
frozen?
having been frozen. Yes. Yeah.
Good, good. All right. So he can't move, he can't speak. There's
Hmm.
no verbal abuse possible because he's frozen. And it's a surprise to him. Okay, very good. So now I want you to see if you can magic whatever. So in fact, let's do this. Whatever is causing that verbal abuse to come out of him, and it's there all the time, think of that as a disease of some kind. So
Hmm.
see if you can see it in his body or in his brain or in his heart or something like that. And what does it look like?
Yeah, it's like dark, murky liquid.
Very good. Dark, murky liquid. And so now he's frozen. Now I want you to wave or get that little you to wave the magic wand again. And the light comes out of the magic wand and goes into that dark, murky liquid and transforms it to white light instead of dark, murky liquid.
Yeah. Yes.
How does that feel?
So is that still inside of him or is that out of
Yes.
him? That's still inside of him. Yeah.
Inside him. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's like shining this light now.
There you go.
Yeah.
And how does that feel before we unfreeze him?
Great.
Good, very good. And now you unfreeze him. So you've still got the bubble, of course. The little you has still got the bubble. So it doesn't matter what happens. She's protected. But she unfreezes your dad. And what does he do?
Yeah. It's again like an animation scene of like, oh, this was me. This is me. This was not like who I was before. It's not me.
Good job. And
Yeah.
can you imagine him opening his arms and hugging your mum?
Yes. Yes, I
Good.
can.
And that light that's shining out of him goes into your mum as well.
Yeah.
Good. And now how does your mum feel?
Yeah.
Any feeling?
Semi-safe. Semi-safe. But
Semi-safe.
I'll give her own light too.
Good, good,
Yeah.
good, good. Yes, do that. So again, if there's any fear left or anything in her, again, the dark stuff, make it into light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good. And how does that feel?
Yeah, it's good because now they're two like powerful individuals.
That's
Yeah,
it.
like they're equally
Very,
powerful. Yeah.
that's what we're aiming for. So each of them has this bright light shining out of them, and the light overlaps.
Mm. Yeah.
Good. So each of them is now feeling completely safe, completely whole, completely empowered, which makes them calm, kind, compassionate, supportive, because that's all they've got in them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah,
That
I'll
feel good
practice
so
that
far?
over. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So you can go over that. So now let's go now to the scene. So you've got your bubble around you still. The little you's got the bubble and the wand. And then now there's just your mum. So we take your dad out of the scene. Your mum is there. Same scene where something's gone wrong. And you're telling her. And now what's her reaction?
Yeah. Now she's like, it's okay.
Good. And do
Yeah.
you believe
Now
her?
she can. Pardon?
Do you believe her?
Yes.
Good. Good. So
Mm-hmm.
now she's convincing. She's authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. And can you imagine her hugging that little you as well? So in other words, being physically affectionate as well as verbally reassuring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good, because that's a very important piece that we, for everybody watching, that's a very important piece to bring into your new memories, is that physical affection as well, that feeling of safety physically. Good
Mm.
job. All right, so that's her. Now let's do the same thing with your dad. So now your dad comes home and he hears about whatever this thing is. What's his reaction?
Yeah, he's like, it's okay. Like life's about having fun, like not about the details, all of that.
Yeah. Very good. And now let's put them together. So now the two of them are there and you are telling the two of them together. And how's that?
Yeah, that's fine. That's good because like that's what I was used to be so afraid of. Like
Yes,
them together was like
that's
a
right.
bombshell. Like it was
That's right.
bad.
That's why we needed to do them separately first, then bring them together and check that all of that is fine.
Yeah, like around this specific room in this house where all the talking would happen.
Right.
Like I imagine it now in that room. Like I
Oh,
imagine the opposite now in that room. Just yeah.
good. And let's, since you've got the room there as a reference, let's also make that room fabulous.
Mm.
So what changes would you make physically to the room, to the decor, to make it a wonderful room to be in?
Yeah, I tried doing this because I never felt protected in that room. Like it always felt like no one knew what was going on.
Right.
Like it was like very closed off. So I made it like with light instead of dark because
Good.
that's what it was in my mind. It's probably not what it was like in real life, but in my mind it was like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's
And
what I did.
can you add things like things that would be fun, like a table tennis table or trampoline? You can put anything you like in there.
Yeah, bouncy castle.
Bouncy
Yeah.
castle, bean
Mm.
bags, and there's books and comics so that you can read. You can relax in that room.
Yes. Yeah.
Good.
I put those in now.
You got that?
Yeah.
Very good, Swasti. So now when you think of being supported in your childhood, what's there?
I mean, it still makes me nervous because it could not, they could flip pretty quick.
Okay, good.
But
So let's
yeah, I feel more supported than I did, like 20 minutes
so you feel
ago.
more supported than you did, but we want to make sure that we make sure that it's completely safe.
Okay.
So let's see how we can tweak it now to make sure that that's the case.
Right.
So as you think of being supported in your childhood, what makes you think that there's a chance that they may flip?
Because they were nice at
Mhm.
a lot of times, but they flipped a lot of times too. So
Right.
because it was 50-50, I feel like, yeah, that's what I know.
Yes, absolutely. And so let's do a stepping stone here. So the stepping stone is going to be, like I know you don't have it over there, but we have it here, but you may have experiences of similar things. Over here, when a tornado is spotted, there's a tornado siren that goes off so that everyone can take cover in time. So we want to put a warning siren on your parents. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they're fine, everything's fine. And then there's a chance that they may flip, but it's not going to be sudden. You're going to have a warning bell or a warning light on their forehead or somewhere, right?
Okay.
And so you see this beep bar, this little thing starts going off, or a thing on top of their head, and it's just it's a beginning. So it's not once it's already happened. Right. So it's like,
Okay.
the water's starting to get hot, but it's not boiling yet.
Okay.
It's still a
Yeah.
while before it boils. So you see that light go on, and you got your magic wand, and you go, oh, no, 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 no. And you freeze them, and you wait for that
Mhm.
light to go off. And you can see the white light inside them, and then you unfreeze them again. So again, it's giving that little you the power
Yeah.
to make things happen or make things not happen, stop things from happening.
Yeah, that gives me control. Yeah, that's good.
Correct.
That takes away that uncertainty. Or like at
Correct.
least it's like, yeah, or at least I can fix it.
That's right. So there's no unexpected. You know exactly what, so you don't have to constantly
Yes.
be looking and be aware and be on,
Yes.
on guard. You'll hear it. You'll hear the siren. So you don't have to be watching or looking out for it. And you don't have to be worried because as
Mm-hmm.
soon as you hear that siren, freeze.
Right. Okay. That's good. But is that not like still anticipating it?
Well, let's think about it. So, for example, here, if we are, it's a beautiful day today, and we're not thinking about tornadoes.
No.
And even when it rains or there's wind, we're not thinking about tornadoes.
Mm-hmm.
We only think, oh, there may be a tornado if we hear the siren go off. And even
Yeah.
then, it's not necessarily that it's here. It's just that if somebody spotted one somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So in the same way, there's no reason for you to be thinking there's anything going on until the key here is that you trust that siren.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you trust the siren?
I can try trust the siren.
So let's explore what may stop you from trusting the siren. What makes you think that the siren may not be working, or that the siren may not be reliable?
I don't know. I want to trust the siren.
Yeah.
But like I want to fully trust it. I do trust it, but not like 100%.
Okay. All right. So let's say the siren is not completely trustworthy, What's the worst? What's going to happen? So you're not expecting it. They may flip. What happens if they do flip and you're not expecting it?
Well, yeah, it was like the whole physical abuse thing. That's what happens if they flip. And
Right.
I think that's why it's so strong.
That's why it's strong. Yes, that makes sense. And so, of course, you've got the bubble around you.
Yeah.
So let's do a stepping stone like this. I want you to imagine that they've got whatever they would hit you with. Now, you've got the bubble around you. Now, the bubble is bouncy.
Yeah.
What happens when they try to hit you while you've got that bubble around you?
They bounce off it. Yeah.
Right. So maybe you need a little bit of that. Maybe you need a little bit of that stepping stone, playing that stepping stone. You're busy doing and have it where they take you by surprise so that you're not expecting it. They suddenly flip, but they bounce off the thing, and make it as comical as you can.
Yeah.
Right? Because the funnier you can make it, the more you'll reduce those stress chemicals and produce the feel-good chemicals.
Okay.
Okay. And so practice helping that little you to feel completely safe with the proof. And the proof is those new memories of this bubble. And every time they go to try and hit, they bounce off and have them looking shocked and surprised what happened.
Okay.
Because that little you needs that as well.
Okay. Yes.
Does that feel good?
Yeah, that feels good. Now I can trust the siren.
Good job. Very good, Swasti.
Yeah.
And so now you have, so this first stepping stone is the bouncing off the bubble. Second stepping stone is that the siren goes off. So you can get on with whatever you're doing. They're lovely. And then whenever you start to see that light or you start to hear the siren, you freeze them. And then as soon as that light is gone, the siren stopped and that bright white light is shining out there, then you unfreeze them. That's the second stepping stone. Then, of course, we need the final memory, which is there's never any flipping. Right. So they always have been completely calm, completely consistently loving. And one of the ways you can represent that is that each of them was born with that bright white light inside them. And so that's just who they are. They grew up like that, and that white light shining out of them has always been there. And you can feel, when that light is shining brightly, you can feel the warmth and the love from that light.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Because like what I'm visually seeing is like the dark side, like the snake skin I said, but it can dissolve away.
That's right.
That's not needed.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
Very good. And so now, and of course, you'll need to practice, and you've got the recording of this, so you can go back over it to remember everything. And you'll need to practice that to establish all those bits and pieces.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, let's just now check about how you feel about being supported in general.
I feel more like I have my own power.
Good.
Yeah.
That's what we're
like I feel completely like, I am capable of handling anything. Like not in a negative way, like just empowered. Yeah.
Fantastic. Good job, Swasti. And that's what we're aiming for. And the reason where that comes from for everyone, so for those watching who are new to all of this, the reason we're doing the childhood stuff is because the power can only come from inside us as adults. But where we get it from, so that it can come from inside us, is from our parents in our childhood. So it comes from the parents to the child in childhood, and then we bring it with us into adulthood. But if you don't get it from your parents in childhood, then as an adult, you're constantly still trying to get it because you don't have it inside you.
Yeah.
So that's why changing these memories, and of course, again, because the unconscious part of the brain can't tell the difference between reality and imagination and will believe those new childhood memories are real, now you've got it inside you. The empowerment.
Yeah.
Fantastic, Swasti. And thank you so much for that, for asking those questions, because again, it's going to help so many others as well.
Thank you.
And I'm so proud of you. I could burst.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, sweetheart. Good job.